Hello, everyone. Welcome to an APH Virtual Excel Academy. We are so glad you are here with us today. Today is a special girls group, but everybody is welcome to join us and hear what we have to say. You know, girls chatter quite a bit, or we're known to anyway. Welcome to an APH Virtual Excel Academy. Today is a girls group. And it's really geared toward our elementary school age girls. But again, you're all welcome to join in. Hi, Donnie. Glad to see you. Welcome to an APH Virtual Excel Academy. Today is Girls Group. And we have Frankie Ann back with us today. Hi, Frankie Ann. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am going to turn them over to you. They're all yours.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Frankie Ann, and I am so excited to be here with APH today to run our girls group. So that being said, we're just going to get started. So I have a pretty PowerPoint up right now. At first, it had a slide that said girls group with a picture of some makeup and a fun little graphic that said girl, because we are going to really get into some parts of being a girl and growing up today. So right now I have a slide up that says, what is our goal in this lesson? Our goal is to understand some important parts about being a girl and growing up. And another goal for this lesson is for us to identify one special resource to turn to if you have any questions, and also to be able to name at least one person you can ask for help or talk to about growing up. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about, so we are just going to get right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about today when it comes to growing up is personal management. Now, to all of my friends who are here live with me and to my friends who might be watching this recorded, I want to think about, what does personal management mean? What does personal management mean? To those of you who are here, you could tell me in the chat. And to those of you who are watching, let's just think about it for a minute. Oh, Nikki says taking care of yourself. That's great. Brittany says to know what your plans are. Excellent. Don't tell anybody about yourself. Oh, interesting. Okay. Monica says taking care of yourself. It sounds like a lot of you are on the same page here, and that is a huge part of personal management. Personal management really means what everybody just said, taking care of yourself in a few different ways. So we're first going to talk about staying clean as a part of personal management. So as we grow up, it's really important to think about staying clean. Staying clean means a few different things. We need to keep our body clean, but we also need to make sure that the things we're putting on our body are staying clean too. So first, we're going to talk about showering. Showering is the most important and super easiest way to make sure that your whole body stays clean. It's important to shower every single day, because if you don't, your body might start to smell a little bit. And that's not something that we want. That's the opposite of staying clean. So it's really important to shower every day. And like I said, it's the best way to keep your whole body clean from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. So that being said, when you're taking a shower, since you want to make sure your whole body is clean, it's important that you take the time to wash every part of your body while you're in the shower, not just your hair. A lot of people might think you have shampoo. Some girls use conditioner to make sure that their hair is beautiful and ready to go. But it's also important to make sure that you have a good body wash to keep your body nice and clean. Now, something to think about when you're thinking about showering and body wash, a lot of these things, the body wash you choose, they have different scents. So you could pick a body wash that has a scent that you like. For example, I really like vanilla smelling scents. Some people really like floral smelling scents or oceans, like ocean breeze scents. There's a lot of different options, and you can pick one that smells the best to you because that's sort of how it will help your body to smell. But the most important thing is to really think about keeping your body clean and smelling good. Speaking of that, the next thing we're going to talk about in terms of personal management and staying clean is wearing deodorant. Now, deodorant is also super important to wear every day. Deodorant helps to keep your underarms from smelling bad. And also, if you use a deodorant with an antiperspirant, that can help to keep your arms from sweating a little bit. It might not make it stop all the way, but it can help sort of keep that under control. Again, as we get older, these are things that might happen. You might notice that your body's changing. You might notice that your body might smell a little different. So this is really important to keep your underarms and your body smelling good. Now, just like before, we were talking about body wash, deodorant also has a lot of choices when it comes to the scents you can pick or the different smells. Just like body wash, you could pick a floral smelling deodorant or a vanilla smelling deodorant. There's a lot of different choices, and it's all about what you think smells good and that you want your body to smell like. Now, this is something else to think about because some of your friends might pick different body washes or deodorants than you, and that's okay because everyone can pick what they think smells the best and what they want their own body to smell like. Now we're going to keep talking about personal management and staying clean. The next thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to staying clean is brushing our teeth. Now, brushing our teeth is super important. When it comes to showering and deodorant, those are things that are important to do at least once a day. But with teeth brushing, it's super important to do this at least 2 times every day. So first thing when you wake up in the morning and last thing before you go to bed, it's super important to brush your teeth. It helps keep your teeth looking white, and it also helps white and clean, and it also helps to keep your breath smelling fresh because it's not really fun to have someone standing in front of you talking who has stinky breath. That's not something that we want. So it's super important to make sure that you're brushing your teeth 2 times every day. And when you're using toothpaste, it's really important to think about, again, there's so many options. You might use a bubblegum toothpaste, but as we get older, I think it's important to think about sometimes using a minty fresh is always the best because it keeps your mouth and teeth smelling fresh and clean, which is super important. Another thing to think about when it comes to brushing is flossing your teeth. Flossing is also important. One thing, because I am a person with a vision impairment, and one thing that I learned when I was a young girl is they sell these individual floss picks that you can use to stick between your teeth and push back and forth to floss and then throw it away. It's a nice, easy way to make sure that the in-betweens of your teeth are staying clean, because one of the worst things is when you have something stuck in your teeth and you don't even know about it. So flossing after you brush is really important as well. The next thing we're going to talk about is when it comes to staying clean is changing your socks and changing your underwear. So something that's really important to think about is dirty clothes, if you wear them too many times in a row, they start to smell. So if you don't wash your clothes, they're going to start to smell because, as we talked about, if you're wearing them and you're going out and you're doing things like, let's say you are playing a sport and you go out and you have a game and you played the sport and you worked so hard and you got a little sweaty because you were playing really, really hard, those clothes are now dirty. And so it's important to wash them before you wear them again because they're going to continue to smell, and that's not really good. So it's important, especially to wear clean socks and underwear, because those are two things your feet, they might start to smell more and more. So it's really important every day to think about wearing clean socks and clean underwear. And that is a perfect way to segue to our next topic. Oh, I know it's so hard not being able to play some sports with COVID. One of our friends in the chat said that they can't play Special Olympics with COVID. I know, but when you are able to play again and do more things in person, it's going to be even more important to make sure that you're changing your clothes. It's interesting to think that we have been doing a lot of things over Zoom. So it might be a little bit more tempting to wear the same clothes a couple days in a row, right? Because if you're on Zoom, people might not be able to see what pants you're wearing. So you might be able to get away with wearing the same thing a couple days in a row. It's really important, even while we're doing things over Zoom, to practice good hygiene and staying clean. So it's super important to make sure that you're doing all of these things we talked about. So let's recap for a second while we're thinking about that. So far, we've talked about staying clean. We talked about showering and doing that every day. We talked about wearing deodorant every day. We talked about brushing your teeth and flossing and making sure that you're doing that at least 2 times every day. And we talked about changing your socks and underwear even during this time when we're doing things over Zoom. It's super important to make sure that we are staying clean. All right. So now we're going to talk about appearance. Appearance is another super important part of personal management. So to those of you watching this recorded and to those of you here with me now, let's think about this word appearance. What does appearance mean to you? And we're going to take a second to think about that. You can tell us in the chat, what does appearance mean to you? Oh, Monica says having a look that is your look or your style. I love that. Brittany says what her clothes look like. Are they clean? Amazing. Perfect. These are great. Great. Oh, appearance, come and visit somebody. That's interesting. You're appearing in front of them. I like that. So in this instance, Monica and Brittany were right on the money. Appearance is really thinking about what you look like or finding a look that is all your own. So it's really thinking about how we present ourselves to other people. So there's a couple different parts of appearance. The first thing we're going to talk about is our clothes. So when we're thinking about appearance and the clothes we wear, the biggest thing to think about is, are these clothes clean? Like we just talked about, if you wear the same clothes over and over, they might start to smell. And that's not really good. Nobody really wants to smell yucky clothes. So it's really important that when you are done wearing clothes for the day, you put them somewhere like your clothes hamper. You have a designated place for your dirty clothes so that you can make sure that they're getting washed and you're not wearing dirty clothes over and over again. The next thing to think about when we're thinking about clothes is, do they match? Now, this might be a little tricky, and sometimes I know, even as a grown-up, I have a hard time knowing if my clothes match from time to time. But it's important to really think about, when we say match, we mean, do these colors go together? Do the two pieces of clothing, let's say if you're wearing a shirt and pants, do they go together for the event you're going to? So for example, if you're going to dinner with a group of your friends and you have jeans and a baggy old sweatshirt on, that might be okay. But it's important to really think about, do the clothes go together for the event that you're going to? And also, do the colors go together? Some colors don't always look great together. And for me, as a person with a vision impairment, I know that this is really hard. And this is something that I always ask for help about. And we're going to talk a little bit about some people that you can ask for help if you don't know if your clothes match. The next thing to think about when we think about clothing is, do your clothes fit you well? Now, I know sometimes it can be super tempting if you have a favorite pair of jeans and you just want to keep wearing them forever. But sometimes we grow and the clothes we love don't always fit us anymore. They might start to get too small. And when your clothes get too small, it can be really uncomfortable to be, you might love these jeans, but as they start to get tighter, it might be uncomfortable being out in public, and it doesn't really look all that great. So it's really important to think about the fit of your clothes. If clothes are too tight, or also if they're too big. If wearing clothes that are too big isn't great either, because especially if you're wearing bottoms that are too big, they might start to sag, and that is not good. We really don't want that. It also, just like I said, is really uncomfortable. It's important to think about, when you're picking your clothes, you're picking clothes that match, you're picking clothes that fit, and this ties really well into our next point that I'm going to make. When you're picking clothes, you want them to be comfortable for you. You want them to look nice, because it's important to present ourselves well to other people. But at the same time, we really want to think about what is comfortable for us. So I personally, I don't know about all of you, you can tell me in the chat, those of you who are here, what you think, but I really don't like to be uncomfortable in clothes. I don't like wearing clothes that are too big or too small. I get worried that they might fall off. It's just not comfortable. So I really like to make sure that my clothes fit me nice and well. When I buy clothes, I try stuff on a lot. And I know in this time of COVID that isn't an option in some places. But when you're out with your mom or whoever you go shopping with, it's sometimes good to think about trying clothes on before you buy them, because then you know if they're going to fit you well. And now, especially thinking about clothes being comfortable and fitting you well, it's not just about how big or tight the clothes are on your body. When we're thinking about clothing and clothes that fit you well, it's really important to think about, are your clothes a style that makes you feel like you? So for example, are you someone who likes to wear skirts and dresses, even if it's not for a fancy occasion? Are you someone who's more comfortable in t-shirts and jeans or shorts because you like to be able to move and you might want to play basketball or a sport with your friends? There's a lot of different styles out there. There's a lot of different options to choose from. And as you get older, Oh, Brittany loves dressing up. I do too. I used to not love dressing up all the time. I was definitely leggings and yoga pants kind of girl because when I was in school, I was a dancer and I always wanted to be able to move. I loved being able to just move my body, have fun, and not worry about anything falling the wrong way. That was what made me comfortable. But now that I'm a grown up and I go to more meetings and things like that, I love dressing up. It makes me feel like me. I also, leggings are a type of pants. They're a type of dancer pants. Someone asked in the chat, I also like to wear bright colors. Some of you may not be able to see me right now, but I have pink glasses and a pink sweater on because in case you couldn't tell, my favorite colors are pink and purple and yellow. I like bright, fun colors. Those make me feel like me. Now, some people might think that that's a little too much for them. They might gravitate more towards colors like black or dark navy blue. Or I know some people who their favorite colors to wear are just black and white. It makes them feel good. They feel professional and fancy. But then I know other people who they like to wear more like dark greens and browns. So it really just all depends on what you like. And again, as a person with a vision impairment, sometimes I had a hard time knowing what colors I liked. And I had to find ways to figure that out and figure out what style I like. Oh, yes, someone in the chat said that their favorite color is purple too. I love it. Such a fun color. So there are ways to figure out what style you like. One thing that I would do when I was young is I watched a lot of shows on the Disney Channel, and there was a character in a TV show, The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Her name was London Tipton, and she wore all of these big, crazy colors. She had shiny sequins, all of this stuff. Hi, Donnie. All of this stuff that was super bright and fun. And I just thought that was awesome. And she really knew her style. And so that was a way that she sort of inspired me to try and find my style. So for all of you out there who are watching this or who are with me now, it's really important that as you're thinking about clothes, you are, again, thinking about, are they clean? Thinking about, do they match? Do the colors go together? Do the two pieces of clothing go together? Am I wearing one thing that's a little casual and this other thing is a little more formal or nice? So it's important to make sure that they go together, both in style and in color. Do they fit? Are they fitting your body correctly? But also, do they fit your personality and your own style? All right, so now we're going to move on from clothes a little bit, and we're going to talk about hair. So similarly to styling your clothes, your hair is a part of who you are. And there are so many different options as a girl and as a guy, but here we're talking about girls. So as a girl, there are so many different options for how you can style your hair. I have a little bit of longer hair, and I have gone through a series of phases with my hair. It's important to find a style that fits you. You could be someone who has long hair and no bangs. You could have bangs that kind of wave to the side, bangs go like right in front of your face, bangs that kind of cover your eyes. You could have short hair. You could have really, really short hair. There's so many options, and it's really important as you're getting older to think about what style you like the best. It's also important to pay attention to your hair and how it naturally is. So some people have straight hair, some people have curlier hair, some people have hair that's kind of in between. It's important to sort of figure out the best way to take care of your hair in particular. So for some people, That means when you shower, learning, should I learn how to blow dry my hair when I get out of the shower? Should I learn, should I brush my hair right away when I get out of the shower? Or should I let it dry a little bit and then brush it out? Everyone's hair is different, which means everyone has to style their hair in a different way. However, there's so much out there to help you learn how to best style your hair. And this took me a long time. I had a really hard time learning how to do my own hair, style my own hair, take care of my hair. My mom was actually super, super helpful in teaching me how to do my hair. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, some people that you can go to for help with this stuff. But it's important for you, especially as you get older, to learn how to do a few different hairstyles that you, first of all, that you like, and second of all, that are good for your hair. So I have hair that's sort of in the middle. It's not quite curly, it's not quite straight, it's kind of just wavy. And one thing that I like to do is I put my hair in a ponytail, but kind of on the side. I'm doing it now. I'm kind of grabbing a bunch of my hair and pulling it over to one side of my head. And if I had a hair elastic, oh, I do, I would put it up to the side and let it hang down. Now that's a hairstyle that I like for me. That's not really for everybody. Some people might like to just wear their hair down. I'm wearing my hair down right now, fluffing it up a little bit, making sure it looks good. There we go. Some people might like to wear their hair in braids. You might hear about a new hairstyle that you want to try, but you're not quite sure how to do it, or you're not quite sure if it works with your curly hair. You can ask, and you can, what I always do is ask someone to show me how to do it. And then I used to practice doing hair on Barbie dolls or American Girl dolls. I don't know if any of you have some of those, but that was always a way that I tried to practice doing hair. Before I did it on myself, I just liked to know if I could do it well. So that's one thing. And also another thing to think about when we're thinking about styling our hair is what kind of accessories match your personality. So for example, there's so many things that you can put in your hair other than just your hair. You could wear hats, you could wear headbands, you could wear barrettes or hair clips, you could wear bows, you could wear, oh yes, I think this is Donnie said you could put gel in your hair. Yes, that's great, using hair products. I put a little, it's called mousse in my hair that helps it kind of curl up a little bit. Another accessory you could do is, I was talking about a hair tie before. I have just black hair ties, but there are some that are so fun. There's some that are bright colors. There's some that are big. They're called scrunchies. They kind of scrunch up in your hair and they're nice and big. You can see them really well. So there's so many options when it comes to styling your hair and what things you put in your hair. So it's really important, again, like we talked about with clothes, it's really important to think about what hairstyle, what haircut, what accessories match your personality. And when we were talking about clothes matching before, one thing that as I've gotten older, I've tried to think about is what accessories that I'm putting in my hair match my outfit. So you might want to, let's say you are going to your friend's birthday party and you want to dress up for the event. So you get a pretty pink dress and you've got some cute white shoes, and then you decide, I want to wear a headband. I have a really dark brown headband and I have a nice white headband. Now, because your shoes are white, it might be best to wear the white headbands because it kind of puts the whole outfit together. It's like the nice cherry on top of the outfit is having that nice little headband accessory that goes with your shoes. So those are some things to think about when it comes to your hair. find a style that fits you, learn how to do a few different hairstyles that you like, and find accessories that make you feel like you. The next thing I want to talk about is makeup. Now, makeup is something that, as a person with a vision impairment, I always had a really hard time with. But makeup doesn't have to be a hard thing. And it also doesn't have to be an all the time thing. You might be the type of girl who doesn't really like to wear makeup. And you know what? That's okay. You might, as you're getting older, be interested in exploring makeup a little bit. You might want to try it a little bit. You might be curious about when to wear makeup. A lot of times, makeup, you can adjust how much makeup you wear based on the event. So for example, there's some makeup that you put on that's just kind of more casual, more laid back, not too done up. That's really good for every day. Just making sure some of the little blemishes on your face might be covered. Then if you're going to something like your friend's birthday party, you might want to add a little bit more. You might want to put some mascara or eyeshadow on just to test it out and just to see, just to brighten your face up a little bit because you're dressed up for a party. Now, it's always important to know that, again, you don't always need to wear makeup. Sometimes it's nice to just not have to wear it. Not everybody likes to, and that's totally okay. It's important to know, though, that if you are interested in makeup, it is an option. And there are several different ways and styles of how to do makeup. There's a lot of options of how much you put on. It's totally up to, again, your own personal style. So figuring out what works for you. Putting on makeup as a visually impaired person can sometimes be tricky, but there's a lot out there to help you. And as you get older, you'll learn some super helpful ways to put makeup on. One thing that I definitely recommend to get started is getting a magnifying mirror. I have one of those. It's super helpful, especially when you're just sort of trying makeup out. Sometimes it's fun, if you're interested in makeup, to maybe try giving your friends a makeover together and seeing how that goes. You guys can test things out together. But again, it's important to remember that makeup doesn't always have to be an all the time thing. And for some people, it's a never the time thing. Some people just don't like it. Makeup is totally your preference, and it's all about your style. So that's something, when it comes to appearance, that I really want all of you to think about. Appearance is really about presenting yourself in the best way, but also the way that makes you feel like you. So now we're going to talk about, how does personal management change? So as you get older, sometimes the way we take care of ourselves changes a little bit, as does the way we present ourselves. Your friends might start to care more about their appearance. You might notice that. They might have used to put their hair in a side ponytail, like I talked about I did, but now they start wearing it in a braid all the time. They might start to change the clothes that they buy. In elementary school, they might have been someone who liked to wear jeans and t-shirts all the time, but then in middle school, they might start to change and start to wear dresses, or start to want to wear fancy shirts and skirts sometimes, or they might start wearing makeup. Sometimes people's personalities and the things that they like change, and that's okay. And it's okay if your personality and the way that you present yourself changes too. It's important to really think about that and really accept that about yourself and try new things. Similarly to how your style and your appearance might change. Your body might start to change as well. When we get older, we go through something called puberty, which is when our body physically starts to change. And so once some of you get a little older, you might need to start wearing camis under some of your shirts, or you might need to go with your mom to get a training bra. These are all things that are really important to pay attention to as you're getting older. Now, who can you ask for help when some of these things start to happen? It's okay to ask for help when you start to think about staying clean and your appearance. Mom, yes, someone in the chat said mom. That is a perfect example. If anyone else live with me right now has some ideas, please feel free to share them in the chat. It's really important to know, I'm going to say this one more time because it's really important. It's okay to ask for help. We don't have all the answers all the time. So it's really important to know that there are people out there that you can ask for help. Brittany says her sister. Yes, siblings, sisters are great people to ask for help. But it's also important to know that your sister could be a great person to ask for help, but it really depends on the relationship you have with your sister. If your sister kind of likes to play tricks on you sometimes or make fun of you in a sibling way, but maybe kind of give you a hard time, they might not be the best person to ask. You can ask them, but just be careful because they might be playing a trick on you if that's the type of relationship you have. If your sister is someone that you really trust, then definitely, absolutely go to your sister, ask them for help. Nikki said, ask your best friend. Friends are definitely people that you can talk to about this stuff, but it's important to remember that your friends might not have all the answers. They're a great person for you to talk to and say, oh, I really want to try this outfit, but I don't know if I like it. And they might say, I like it. I think it's great, right? But if there's something that you're really unsure, your friend might be unsure too. So it's great to have someone to talk to, but it's also important to have people that can really give you the answers. Brittany says she would ask the store person maybe, oh, about clothes. That's a great example. If you're at a store with your mom picking out some clothes, you could ask someone working at the store, or if you're trying to get some new hair accessories, you could ask if this accessory is good for curly hair, or you could ask, do these clothes match? That's a great example. Monica said mom. Mom is a great one too. Mom is definitely a good person to ask. So my slide just changed. We're on to our next topic, which is social life. So we've really covered all of the personal management sides of growing up. Now we're going to talk about social life. So I want to take a minute to think about, what does this mean? If you're watching at home, please take a minute, really think about what social life means to you. And if you're here, you can tell me what you think social life means in the chat. Brittany says her friends. That's a great example. So social life, as much as it means your friends, that's actually a perfect segue. Oh, Monica says having fun with people. Yes, these are great examples. So a big part of social life is your friend groups. Now, what is a friend group? A friend group is a group of people who all hang out together to get together with everybody. Yes, that's a great example. So as Monica said, a friend group is a group of people that all hang out together. And it's important to note that a lot of times people in friend groups have something in common. And having something in common is a really great way to get into a friend group. So finding things like you have the same favorite TV show or taste in music, or you all really like to read a certain series of book. These are all really great things to find out if you have in common with other people. And when you find these things you have in common, you tend to start hanging out with these people more and they become your friend group. Now, just because you're friends with a group of people, as our appearance and our style and our bodies might change as we get older, your friend groups might start to change. Sometimes the interests you have when you're younger change as you get older. For example, you might really like to watch Little Einsteins, but then as you get a little older, you might feel like you're a little too old for Little Einsteins and you don't like it as much. That's okay. And you might start watching a different show. You might not have the same things in common with some of your friends. Oh, Super Nanny, that's a cool show. Someone in the chat just said that they like Super Nanny. I used to watch that all the time. You may not have the same things in common with your old group of friends anymore. As your interests change and their interests change, they might start to like new sports or new hobbies. They might just start to like new music and you don't really like it as much. Their personality might start to change a little bit. There's a lot of reasons why friend groups might change, and that's okay. Sometimes people grow up and they grow apart, and that's just kind of a natural part of life. But if you kind of drift away from your friend group, it's important to know how to become a part of a new friend group. You might be hanging out with a group of people who really liked Little Einsteins, and now you don't like it anymore, but they all still do. And you kind of don't feel like you have a lot in common with them anymore. It's important to find a group of people that you have new things in common with. Just like how you made friends with your old friend group, it's the same thing. Try to find people that are interested in your new interests and start talking to them about these things. There's a lot of different ways to start these conversations, and one way is by joining extracurriculars. So what is an extracurricular? If you know, you can tell me in the chat. But also, I'm just going to talk because I really want to make sure we can cover everything. But an extracurricular, Brittany says theater. Yes, theater is an example of extracurriculars. Extracurriculars are the things that you like to do after school time. So things like theater, maybe you like to play sports, you like soccer, maybe Monica says, yes, like sports. Maybe you do dance class or gymnastics. Maybe you're a part of a book club. There's a lot of different extracurriculars out there, and it's really what you like to do in your free time after school is over. Now, participating in extracurriculars is a great way to make friends because you already know that you all like to do the same thing. You know that the people on your soccer team like to play soccer. You know that the girls and boys in your ballet class, they like to do ballet. So you can talk to them about that common interest. It's a really easy way to start making friends. Now, if you're nervous about joining an extracurricular because it is new and you don't know what to expect, you can always talk to your TVI or your O&M instructor. I'm going to tell you guys a little story about when I was in high school. I was always a dancer. I loved to dance and I loved theater. Brittany, I'm so glad you brought that up. But when I was in high school, I was in a new place with people who I didn't really know, and I was really nervous about making friends. So I decided I really wanted to join a sports team. Now, I wasn't really good at any sports. I had never really played many sports before. So I decided to do cross country or running. So I went with my TVI to meet the coach of the cross country team, and they were really nice. It helped me to not feel as nervous. I talked to the coach about what I was nervous about as a person with a vision impairment. And then we came up with a plan that with my O&M instructor, we would walk through the course that we would run at our school. And my O&M instructor would come with me to every course at different schools that we would run at to make sure that I felt comfortable on the running course before I had to run a race, so that I didn't feel nervous or embarrassed that people might laugh because I didn't know where I was going. I was nervous about that, but I talked to my O&M instructor and my TVI. We made a plan and I didn't feel nervous anymore. Same thing with theater. When I joined a new theater group in high school, I went with my O&M instructor and we walked through the stage area. We walked through the auditorium so that I could feel comfortable and show up to the first day of rehearsal knowing that I was in the same playing field as everyone else in my theater group. So your TVI and your O&M are super helpful resources to get you feeling comfortable in joining a new extracurricular. Now, we're going to talk about another aspect of social life that might start to happen as you get older. You might start to have crushes on people. So what is a crush? A crush is someone who you might start to like a little bit more than just as a friend. You might start to think they're really cute. You might think that they are really good at something. You might think that they might be a really good artist and you might think that's really cool. They might be really good at a certain sport. There's a lot of things. You might think that they're really funny or nice, and you might start to like them as a little bit more than a friend. Now, yes, so someone said having a crush is like having a girlfriend, or boyfriend. So you might not start out there, you might just really be interested in this person, kind of liking them as more than a friend. But it's important to know that having a crush is not something to be embarrassed about. It happens to everyone. You are going to come across people who you think are really cute, all those things that I said. They have a really cool personality, and you might want to get to know them better. Now, it's important to think about some tips and tricks for having a crush. I'm going to share some of those with you guys now. So one thing is to stay calm and cool about it. If you kind of get really worked up and all like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, he's so cute, that might happen, but that might kind of freak your crush out a little bit. It's important to really take a breath and just try and talk to them as if they were another friend, right? Really try to just say, hi, how are you? And try to get to know them better. It's also important to know that just because you like them, they might not like you back in the same way. Now, that might make you really sad, and that might be something really hard to understand and kind of accept, but that's just the way it is. Not everybody likes everybody the same way. So it's important to respect that person's feelings and just try to understand that it doesn't necessarily mean anything about you. You just might not be that person's cup of tea, and that's okay. Your crush, it can be hard, like I said, but again, I just want to say this one more time. It's really important to respect their feelings because the reverse might happen. Someone might have a crush on you and you don't like them back. Now, if you told them that you don't like them, that you don't feel the same way, and they just kept saying it and trying to get you to be their girlfriend or whatever, that might not feel very good. So you would want them to respect your feelings. So it's really important, excuse me, to be respectful of your crush's feelings. Now, as we get older, having crushes might start to change. Your friends might start having boyfriends or girlfriends. You may get heartbroken. Like I said, you might like someone and they don't like you back, or someone might be your boyfriend and then they don't want to be your boyfriend anymore. Like I said, someone might have a crush on you and you might not like them back in the same way. These are all things that might happen. And the most important thing, like I said, is to really respect other people's feelings, but also respect your feelings as well. Don't feel like you have to say yes to being someone's girlfriend just because they asked you. You don't have to say yes. If you, like I said, if someone likes you and you don't like them back, you can tell them that. It's okay to say, nicely say, you know what? I don't really like you that way, but I would really love to stay your friend if that's how you feel. Respecting both your feelings and their feelings is something super, super important to always keep in mind. So, who can you ask for help when we're thinking about social life? It's okay to be unsure what you might want to do. It's okay to be unsure, especially with crushes, if you want to tell someone that, yes, you want to be their girlfriend, or you want to say no. It's okay if you're a little anxious or nervous that you've realized that you don't like the same things you used to like, and your friends, you're feeling like you're not as close with them anymore. A lot of these things might start to happen. And it's okay to ask for help. If you know that there's a club or an activity you want to try, or you're unsure of an extracurricular you might want to try, there's people that you can go to get ideas and suggestions about all of these elements of social life. So some people you can ask are your parents. Your parents know you really well. They see you every day. They really get the sense of who you are, what you like. They might be able to help point you in a direction or help you come up with an idea of an activity to try. They might be able to give you some helpful tips of how to tell someone that you want to be their friend, how to get to know people. Parents are a super great resource. Teachers are also a really great resource to give you more information, especially about extracurriculars. A lot of times, teachers at schools are also coaches, or a lot of clubs at school have a staff advisor. So teachers can really give you a lot of information about what an extracurricular is really all about, because you might think you know what being on the cross country team is, but then you realize that that means you have to run 6 miles at practice every day, and that's not really your favorite thing. But anyway, it's really important to know that teachers are someone that you can go to learn more about extracurriculars. And also, if you feel comfortable talking to a teacher, if you're having a problem with someone in your friend group, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're not feeling like your feelings are respected, and there's something that you want to talk about, you can always talk to a teacher about it. That is always an option. We talked about going to your TVI or your O&M instructor. Those are really valuable resources for any of these areas that we talked about. A school counselor can help you to learn more about extracurriculars and also help you work through some issues with friend groups that might come up. Again, your siblings and your friends, we talked about these before, because again, it's important to be mindful when you're asking your siblings or your friends for advice, because they either A, might not know the answer and just kind of think they do, or B, depending on your relationship with your sibling, they might try to steer you in the wrong direction. So really be mindful about talking to your siblings and your friends. Your friends are great people to talk to because they're in the same boat as you. They might have the same exact question that you have, and it might make you feel a little less alone, knowing that you're not the only person who is worried about what outfit to wear or what sport to join. So it's really good to have friends to talk to. Now, growing up is hard. Things change. It's not always easy. But the most important thing to know is it's okay to talk about it. You're not the only one who might have a hard time growing up. I think I know a lot of my friends and I felt very similarly when we were growing up, and we felt so happy knowing that we had each other to talk to. And we always did what I thought was super fun. We would have girl talk. We would have time where we would sit together and talk about all of these things that we talked about in our session today. We would talk about hairstyles and outfits and makeup, and it was just nice having people to talk to. So really don't feel like you have to sit in these changes by yourself. You have friends and people that you can go to have girl talk and share how you feel and find out what style is best for you, what friend group is best for you. Now, before we go, I want to share a special resource with all of you. It's up on the screen now. It is a book series called The Care and Keeping of You. There's a few different books in this series, but the first one is called The Care and Keeping of You. It's a book that is the perfect thing to read when you have questions about any of the things we talked about today. It's something to help you when you might not have someone there for girl talk. If your friend is busy or your sister is busy and you have a really important question, this book most likely has the answer. And it is available on Bookshare. So that is something to keep in mind. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for having me today. It was so great to have some girl talk with all of you. Remember, if you have questions about any of the things we talked about, you can check out this book, The Care and Keeping of You. You can check with your parents, teachers, siblings, friends. The most important thing I want you guys to take away from today is even though some of these things might be hard, it's okay to talk about it and you don't have to go through it alone. So thank you so much to APH for having me. And I'm really looking forward to my next session, which is going to be an older girls group. So thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Frankie Ann. And if you are going to be with us tomorrow, all of you who are online with us, tomorrow is Braille displays and screen readers, a fun dynamic duo. So come learn a little bit more about Braille displays and what screen readers are and what they can do. And on Thursday, we are going to virtually go out to eat. So Thursday is going out to eat, and Robin will be in lots of fun because it has everything to do with food. Thank you, Frankie Ann. We really enjoyed having you, and I look forward to our older session. Goodbye, all. We will see you tomorrow.